Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, or later today, I'm covering part 2 of the story I covered earlier, and no need to do a big recap because you all know what happened. It's a long story. But where we left off, this guy's girlfriend, Zarah, was sounding off about how pretty much women should be allowed to do whatever they want, and if a guy doesn't allow them, they're insecure meanies, and therefore women are allowed to sneak around, blah, blah, blah. And then quickly changed her tune a little bit, realizing that this guy could be kicked her to the curb. Well, now we're going to continue on this story here with our guy here, and Les, and Zarah, and how eventually our guy wakes up and, let's just say, doesn't end well for the big mouth know-it-all effinist here. And again, showing how she's a big giant hypocrite and full of it. So the story continues on. He says here, we were running late, so we ended this conversation. I came away from this alarmed. You think? I thought what Zarah said was insane, and in principle, Zarah's okay with women cheating on their significant others, but she claims she's never going to do that to me because she doesn't need anyone else but me. Yeah, okay. I wondered if I'd be able to... I wonder if I'll still be able to see if she ever needs these needs in 5, 10, or 20 years. She'll probably continue to think it's okay for women to cheat, but maybe somewhere down the line, she'll change her mind about me being all she wants. What will Zarah do then? Bro, guess what? She's probably cheating on you already. I'd bank on it. So the four of us remaining grad students, Les, me, and 2 of the other women who began school together, started to hang out. One woman was living with her boyfriend. The other woman, Ava, was incredibly pretty, smart, and truly nice person. Okay, let's see about that in a few pages. I really liked her. Les and her started to study alone together and then started to date. Les began talking less about Bunny and more about Ava. He's going through a divorce and already he's on to Ava? But I think Les needs time to heal, but I think he wants revenge, so he wants to start banging a bunch of chicks. Like he was the students. Les needs some fucking therapy. Ava was an upgrade from Bunny in every way but looks. Ava is good looking, but honestly, it would be hard to find any woman more beautiful than Bunny. I thought Les and Ava made a great couple. He actually seemed happy for the first time since Bunny. We were back to discussing psychology on our commutes, along with how great Ava is. So already he's now gone from being just so infatuated with Bunny and she's so amazing, now he's on to Ava. And what happens when guys do that shit? A few weeks before Thanksgiving break, Les began to complain about Ava. He was serious about her and wanted to see more of her. He's going through a divorce, for God's sakes. Take your time, bonehead. Weeknights, we were all in class, but she wouldn't see him on Fridays and occasionally on Saturdays or Sunday night too. No explanation, just that she's busy. After Bunny's lies about her Thursday night wet t-shirt contest, that's what I mentioned earlier, Les was very concerned about what Ava was up to on Fridays. They're not even in a relationship, and if they are, he's an idiot for doing that. Also, Les wanted the 2 of them to be exclusive. Smack! Okay, they're not exclusive, they're just dating and hooking up. Her response was that she wasn't ready for that. Well, there you go. This is why a guy never asks a girl to be exclusive. You wait for the girl to bring it up. Because she ain't ready, she ain't bringing it up or hinting, where is this going? They needed to take things slow, she said. Not something Les wanted to hear. He was convinced Ava was seeing someone else and wasn't being forthcoming with him. She didn't confirm or deny she was seeing other people, just that it was none of his business. Well, if they're supposed to be just dating and nothing, unless she's saying I'm not dating other guys, but still. I told her maybe she has to study or just hang out with friends. Give her some space, take your time. You just got to go out, you got to have a bad relationship. You mean marriage? You and Ava are just dating now. More of a commitment may come later, don't push it. But Les was determined to find out what was going on with Ava. Doesn't Les have anything else going on in this world than chicks? Following morning, Les got in the car looking like he did after he found out about Bunny. And I asked him what happened. He said he was finally confronted Ava about what she was doing on Fridays when she refused to see him. What was more important than being with him? Dude, get a fucking life. He just started. Ava replied, we're just dating. Not engaged or married. Not even exclusive. I don't owe you any explanations. I've been very clear about this from the beginning. A lot of back and forth, she finally told him that she was seeing somebody else. At this point in the relationship, she didn't want to feel tied down to Les or anyone else. I actually don't blame her. He's rushing things. She knows he's going through a fucking divorce, Unless she said to his face, I'm only seeing you, then he has a right to be upset. But other than that, when you're dating, oftentimes people date other people. Les demanded to know who it was, and she finally told him Marco. Ha! Marco the teacher. Shocker. She started seeing Marco long before she and Les started dating. Does Marco know about Les? Ava said Marco couldn't care less about Les. Couldn't care less about Les? Really? Marco wants to have his fun, and Ava understands that's all Marco wants from her. Marco, she said, is a lot of fun, and she plans to continue to see him. Marco's a Chad. He wants to bang all the chicks. Although I think Marco's a fucking scumbag. Sooner or later, she'll tire of him, but that's her decision. She's not going to stop seeing Marco or anyone else just because Les wants her to. Her relationship with Les is not one where he's entitled to make any such demands. She likes Les and wants to continue seeing him, but at this point, she wants to see other men too. Okay, you're casually dating, she's a friend with benefits, nothing more. Dumbass Les doesn't realize this. That was too much what Bunny told him, so Les flipped out. Bunny was his wife, it's a different ball game. Les said he told her he considers her relationship with Marco cheating. No, it's not. Unless she agreed to give up Marco or any others, they're over. You don't think this Ava chick couldn't get other dudes? What happened? Les said he and Ava are done. But Les wasn't done. He told everyone who would listen that Ava was a horrible person who got good grades by sleeping with her professors. Well, I can agree with that. Marco also was the target of his anger. Les went to the department chair to inform him that Marco was sleeping with Ava and other students. Marco was on tenure track, but he wasn't tenured yet. He could be fired at any time for cause, and this was a serious accusation. Les met with the chair on Friday. He left the chairman's office and also dropped out of school. Not knowing any of this, I went to pick him up as usual the next Monday morning, but found his house empty with a for rent sign out front. I haven't seen Les since. Les is a fucking moron. I think we can all agree here. Now he's dropping out of school, messing things up, but he's a rich boy, so at the end of the day, Mom and Dad will clean up his mess. They cleaned up his mess with his first marriage. But our main story is about our guy here. I learned all this from Marco because he was furious at me. It figured that Les had told me that he was going to be the chairman, and I hadn't tried to stop him or warn Marco. I made it clear that I didn't know about any of this. I knew that Marco was seeing Ava, and that was a problem for Les, but I didn't know how Les had become that unhinged. That's an understatement, unhinged. Marco said the chairman called him in to discuss Les' allegations. Marco admitted that he was seeing Ava, but since Marco isn't teaching graduate-level courses, Ava wouldn't be one of his students. Also, Ava is over 21 and can make her own decisions about who she spends her time with. Marco denied that he dated undergraduates and told the chair he's never been involved with any of his students. Marco, your nose is growing like Pinocchio, you lying fuck. Marco said the chairman told him to be careful, and that was that. Ava came to tell me goodbye. I asked where she's going. She's leaving school. What is with the people in this school dropping like flies? The chairman of the department called her in, and she watched him fumble around trying to find out if she's sleeping with her professors without actually asking her that directly. He made it clear that he wasn't accusing her of anything and just wanted to clear things up. Yeah, sure. For her own good, but if the students had intimate relations with their professors, that could become a problem. Ava made it clear she wasn't sleeping with her professors. She's seen Marco, but she's not taking any courses with him. Ava said it was a very unpleasant discussion. She decides she can't remain at school here if people think she's screwing her teachers for grades. Then why are you fucking the other professor, you idiot? So she's moving on. She's been accepted at another graduate school and will start their spring semester. That's the last time I saw Ava. Oh, for goodness sake. This is a goddamn soap opera. Well, now we're getting on to Zarah. That's the main theme of this whole story. We have open relationships and cheating with Bunny, another stupid name Bunny. Pick a different name, guys, when you're speaking code names here. But the main thing is the entitled Zarah and her feminism. That's what drew me to the story. So on Fridays, I finish teaching by noon, and since there aren't any evening classes, I'm usually home by early afternoon. Last December, Zarah's final exam was for Hannah's class. The exam ended at noon, but she didn't go home until 4 p.m. She didn't call or text, so I was worried that something happened to her. I texted her about 3 p.m. with no response. When Zarah finally arrived home, I asked her why she was so late. Let's all place our bets here. She seemed happy, a smile on her face, but I could tell she was anxious about something. She told me her favorite professor, Hannah, suggested Zarah come to her house to borrow a book, and Hannah suggested Zarah read. Come to the house. Zarah followed Hannah home. I figured Zarah didn't contact me or answer my text because she wouldn't want Hannah to think Zarah, an independent woman, had to report what she was doing to some boyfriend. Again, why are you still with her, dude? Why is she so late? Well, Zarah said that when we got to Hannah's house, Hannah wanted to make lunch, neither of us had eaten, and then she wanted to show me around her place. Hannah has a beautiful home, a 3-story townhouse not far from school. Zarah was still smiling and spoke as though going home with her professor was nothing unusual, but she still seemed anxious. I knew there was more, so I asked, why aren't you telling me? What aren't you telling me? Zarah started to unpack her backpack, and nonchalantly with a smile, as if it was nothing, said, Hannah kissed me. There's a freaking surprise. Still messing with her backpack, still calmly smiling. Zarah glanced at me for my reaction. I was so stunned that I didn't say anything. Dude, you're stunned? Well, she did say she didn't need attention validation from a man. She didn't say about a woman. Finally, I asked her what happened after Hannah kissed her, and Zarah shrugged as if the answer was obvious and casually replied. I kissed her back, she said. We kissed for a while on Hannah's couch, but nothing else happened. Maybe some touching, nothing significant. So are you all wondering what these girls look like? Is her professor some blue-haired harpy with a hoop in her nose and tattoos on her forearms and looks like Rachel Maddow? Or is she some, lipstick lesbian? I don't know. I'm guessing probably not. I knew there was more, so I asked, what else? I was raging inside, but I kept outwardly calm, so Zarah figured it was safe to tell me the rest. Well, at this point, she just ended it with her, but I guess she wanted a good story to tell. Without any change to her cheerful expression, her voice even an unconcerned, Zarah replied, Hannah has a weekend home on the bay, and she asked me to spend the weekend with her there. Yeah, I'm sure just reading and talking about classes, huh? Trying to keep my voice steady, I asked Zarah what she told Hannah about this weekend. Zarah didn't answer questions, but instead said, I think it might be a fun weekend. I really admire Hannah, and I'm delighted that she's taking an interest in me. No, you're interested in her fish tacos. That's what you're interested in. She's a big deal in our field and can really help my career. Yeah, I'm sure she really wants to help your career. She wants your young 21-year-old ass. That's what she wants. Sheepishly, like she was sharing an embarrassing secret, she continued, I was turned on by the kissing. I think it might be a good idea to explore my feelings for Hannah now instead of having them hang over our heads. I should get it out of my system instead of wondering about it. See where it leads. In other words, I want to have an open relationship, honey, and you should let me because a secure man would do that. She said all this as though she didn't have a boyfriend and a romantic weekend with Hannah was completely natural and normal. Not a big deal. I just stared at her. Zarah continued, I didn't just leave with her for the weekend from her house because I wanted to tell you about it first and didn't want to do it on the phone. Oh, how considerate of you, honey. Also, I need to pack some clothes to take with me. I also got pretty sweaty and should take a shower and change. Sweaty, huh? Gee, I wonder how that happened. Hannah will be here to pick me up at 6 p.m. I'll be back Sunday or Monday. My school's out for the semester, and you'll be at school until the end of next week, so there's no rush for me to return. If we decide to stay longer, I'll try to call you. No, you can stay with her as long as you want. Get the fuck out. Zarah started towards the bedroom to pack for the weekend. What, her dildos and all that other stuff? I told her that she should definitely go on a romantic weekend and explore her feelings for Hannah. Zarah smiled ear to ear, almost giddy that I was not being difficult about this. She came to me for a hug, but I held her off and said, while you're gone, I'll pack up your stuff and drop your things off your parents. You no longer live here. Thank the Lord. About goddamn time you did that. I guess she's not going to be smiling ear to ear now. You scared her so much she dropped all her dildos. Zarah's smile disappeared. It was her turn to be stunned. I guess she thought at worst I might get angry and tell her I didn't want her to go. That I might get upset and she would be able to calm me down. She didn't expect me to end things. She asked, what are you talking about? I'll be back over the weekend or after the weekend. It has nothing to do with our relationship or with you. I love you. This is just something I feel I should experience and explore. Why are you being such a jerk about this? Oh, it's his fault. Well, Sherlock, you should have figured this out a long time ago. This was the path things were going to go when she wanted to be majoring in women's studies and yapping about open relationships and all that crap. I asked if she wants to start packing her stuff because she leaves for her romantic weekend, or does she want me to do it for her? She won't be coming back here ever. Does Zarah want to tell her parents that she's moving back with them, or should I tell them when I arrange for them to drop off her things? I then apologized and told her I shouldn't assume she'll move back to her parents. Maybe she and Hannah will want to make things more permanent. Please, Hannah the professor has a different chick every semester. Explore more deeply. Maybe Hannah will wait while we're finishing packing so she can put Zarah's things in her car. Either way, we should begin packing her stuff. I went to get the box of large plastic garbage bags. Well, that's appropriate. Zarah was now angry with me and said, I didn't think you'd react like this. When we started talking about women exploring their needs, you didn't say anything, didn't object. I thought you'd understand. I guess I was wrong. We need to revisit this discussion and begin addressing your insecurities. You should reconsider how you're acting for the sake of our relationship going forward. You know, this is a young guy with his future ahead of him. Obviously, he can get other women, but in her mind, she's so amazing that this guy will fall for this. But remember, she's so comfortable in the relationship, she thinks this guy isn't going anywhere. This is what happens when women become too secure in the relationship. Or shall I say, can happen to immoral women like this. I started putting her clothes from the closet into one of the plastic bags while she stood there and watched. I asked her if she was going to help pack. Zarah continued, if you're this upset about the weekend, then you're actually threatening the relationship. I'll stay home this weekend so we can talk. I'll try to make up some excuse for Hannah that doesn't make you look so selfish and controlling. I just hope she's not disgusted that she doesn't invite me again. This chick still thinks she has a chance. I said, it's too late. Our relationship ended when you kissed Hannah back then. That you want to spend a romantic weekend with someone other than me is just further confirmation that it's over. Zarah was really alarmed now. She stared at me as if I'd grown another head. No, what you've grown is some balls, finally. But she was beginning to understand that this was serious and quickly getting out of hand. Browbeating me wasn't working, so her voice softened, and she said, there's no need for you to be so dramatic. I'm not leaving you for Hannah. I love you, not her or anyone else. I already said I'm not going. The kissing was nothing. Please stop packing my clothes so we can sit down and talk. Now she's changing tactics. I said, too late, and started packing her underwear drawer. Zarah began crying and replied, if you're concerned about Hannah, I'll tell her right now that our relationship has to remain strictly professional. Oh, now the waterworks. Bag Handbook Chapter 2. I started to empty the drawer where she keeps her sweaters. Zarah was really sobbing now. If you're that worried about her, I'll get her another faculty advisor and won't take her any more of her classes. She smiled hopefully through her tears. Those tears are so fake. Girls can whip these tears up like it's nothing. I said to her that you told me you believe in a principle that it's okay for women to cheat on her significant other and behind his back. If he doesn't accept her, need to be intimate with other people. You claim then that you have no desire and never will. Now you tell me you want to be with someone else. If I say no, I have become the jerk who wants to prevent you from fulfilling your desires. So you'll feel justified ignoring my feelings and cheat behind my back. Well, she made it clear I don't need a man's attention and validation, not a woman's. In your mind, you're cheating on me is okay if I say go ahead or if I say no way. The only difference is for you is whether you can cheat openly or have to sneak around behind my back. Well, that pretty much sums it up. Why would I want to be with someone who has made it clear that she's going to be unfaithful to me, regardless of my feelings? And has already become unfaithful. Passionately kissing someone other than me is cheating. Go ahead and exploit to your heart's content, but I won't be around. Let's get you packed up and out of here now. Wow! The waterworks. So, Zarah didn't spend that weekend with Hannah, but I'm sure they shared many romantic moments ever since. Now he's fast-forwarding in time here. Instead, that night, we packed up her things. Well, I packed while she cried and begged and tried to convince me to not throw her out. She pleaded with me. She said, you took it all wrong. I wasn't really serious about going with Hannah. I just wanted to see what you'd say. It was mostly just a stupid joke. I thought you and I would just laugh about it. The kissing wasn't all that passionate. I just love the different tactics she's taking and trying this approach and that approach to get this guy to keep her. She continued on saying that she has no desires to explore with anyone other than me. She says, you'll never hear me talk about Hannah again. Do you really want to throw everything away or a silly misunderstanding? Misunderstanding my butt. Can't we just talk about this? And on and on. I ignored her until she was all packed up. Well, silence makes them crazy. Then I asked her, will you report Hannah to your school as a predator? Uh-huh. Remember how she was talking about that teacher Marco as a predator? And he should report her? Well, now here she is with a teacher. Les did the same thing with his students, and you said he should report and his TA taken away. You're not the first student Hannah has hit on, and you won't be her last. Are you going to report Hannah and get her fired? Zarah didn't respond. She just stared at the floor. Hypocrite. Yeah, if a man's doing it, he's a predator and he's a scumbag. If a woman professor's doing it, well, hey, you know. And she's loving the attention and validation from her teacher. I managed to get all Zarah's things in her car. While I was outside stuffing bags in the car, I saw Zarah watching me from the apartment's propped up open front window. She opened her phone, taped it, and put it to her ear and turned away from the door. She was either calling Hannah or her mom. My bet was on Hannah. I was too far away to hear the conversation, but I wanted to know what excuse she would give Hannah. Oh boy. I can't imagine this feminist mumbo-jumbo back and forth. When Zarah disappeared back into the apartment, I left her car and stood outside next to the open front door and listened. I could hear Zarah, but not Hannah. Zarah told Hannah she won't be coming with her that weekend. Zarah thinks she's coming down with something and wouldn't want to give it to Hannah. Herpes? Hannah said something that made Zarah giggle and say, I'm more than willing to give you that again. Anytime you want, more giggles. Oh, for God's sakes. She told Hannah in a sweet, flirty voice that she hopes Hannah will ask her for a weekend again sometime soon. A whole weekend in Hannah's arms will be in heaven. Well, Hannah's going to show up. Zarah's going to show up at Hannah's with a U-Haul. And you guys know about that joke with girl on girl and U-Hauls. You'll know what I'm talking about here. A pause, and then Zarah told Hannah that she'll probably be fine by Monday and would love to come to Hannah's for lunch. Giggling, Zarah asked, I can't wait to have more of the dessert that you gave me today. It was wonderful. Maybe we can share dessert before and after lunch. Or we can just skip lunch. More giggling, then a very girly, can't wait to be with you again Monday, Hannah, bye. So obviously there was a lot more than kissing going on. Yeah, she was on a different pair of lips, if you will. When Zarah hung up, I went back to finishing packing up the car. She came out in her coat and looked at me. She was very pleased with herself. Zarah said, I just called Hannah and told her that the only relationship she and I can have is a student and teacher. No romantic entanglements. Then she knew this guy heard her conversation. She agreed completely. Are you happy now? Can we bring back my things in the house and talk? Completely full of shit. I finished stuffing the last of her things into her car. I had her keys and took the apartment key off her ring, and I tossed her the car keys and said, I wouldn't want to be a jerk who deprives you of Hannah's wonderful dessert. Have a nice life. She turned beet red. I walked back into the apartment, tossed out her purse, shut and locked the door. After some banging on my door, repeatedly asking, can't we just talk about this? With professions of love for me, Zarah finally drove away. About freaking time. It's not early January, and I think Zarah is living with her parents. She texts and leaves voicemails, but I ignore and delete them. I haven't talked to Zarah since that Friday night. The end. Well, there you go, guys. What can we learn from this crazy story, aside from the fact that there's crazy people out there, and this happens all the time, sadly? If your girl goes down the path of the FNist, starts taking classes on women's studies, or wants to major in that and all that, guess what? This is probably in your future. Or she is so dismissive about cheating and starts pulling out this feminist mumbo-jumbo that marriage is a controlling institution for the man to control the woman, or she should be allowed to do this or that, and blah, blah, blah. Guys, you know how this is going to end. And of course, you pay attention to your girl always, and you don't rush into relationships. I can go on and on here about this whole thing from both the stories here of Les and Bunny, and Zarah and this dude telling the story here. But at the end of the day, good for this guy finally kicked her to the curb. And of course, she's leaving voicemails and texts, and it ain't going to be over. So, bro, I hope you learned from this whole thing here, and I'm sure you have, and I wish you good luck in your career. Sounds like you're a sharp guy. You weren't very sharp with her, but you eventually learned. You were with her for a long time, so it's hard to probably let her go. But, yeah. And if you ever hear from Les again, make sure this bonehead learns his lesson about rushing into relationships and getting his shit together and stop having mommy and daddy fix all his fucking problems here. But there you go, guys. Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let us think about this. And, guys, you come across a good story you want to share, email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And if you like the video, share with your friends and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.